Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Lane. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Harry Potter HBO. We have the cast lineup for Harry, Hermione, and Ron. And to be honest, I can't really judge at this point. You know, I don't. I think they all look the part. You know, there's your Harry, Hermione, and Ron there. Like, they all look good. Of course, you got Arabella Stanton, Dominic McLaughlin, and Alistair Stout. The photo comes from HBO. They've been announced. Great. We know some of the cast as well. We know who's playing Snape, McGonagall, all that lot. I can't remember the names. I know that John Lithgow is Dumbledore. I remember that name because I recently watched a film with John Lithgow in, and I'm like, yeah. What's my thoughts on it? Because that's kind of what I think people want to hear. I know you guys have been asking me to come back to the channel, and I figured I'd come back with this. My thoughts in this cast is, yeah, they look the part. But just because they look the part doesn't mean they can act the part. The difficulty I'm going to have going into this show, right, and this honestly is the difficulty of it all, is I will be going in a lot like many others with the inception of the movies, what I loved and remembered about them, and what I still watch today, going into this and being like, not really. Because also the other thing is, we know the ending of the story. We've read it in the book. We've seen it in the film. Back when Harry Potter was released, the books were being released, the movies were being released, the story hadn't finished. It had not ended. So we know where these three end up, is what I'm getting at. Do I think they all suit the role? You know, from their physical appearance, they all look like Harry, Hermione, and Ron. I've seen some comments about Hermione, but to be honest, Hermione, I say, is the one that doesn't look like Hermione. Because in the books, and Emma Watson didn't look like Hermione. Because in the books, Hermione is this geeky, nerdy sort of child who is just a bookworm, loves books, loves reading, loves gaining knowledge. And I was kind of thinking maybe they go for someone who could pull off that dorky sort of look. But they've gone this way, the same they went with Emma Watson back in the early 2000s, in the 90s when they cast this. So, you know, I can't, and no one else can really grumble. I've seen a couple of things about them being like, yeah, the girl isn't who they had in mind, because I think the issue is, and I'm not getting into a race row. I'm not doing that. Because I think that's what I've seen online, is race row. These are kids. They've got the opportunity of a lifetime. Chances are the kid who's playing Harry will only ever be known for Harry. The kid who plays Ron will probably only be known for Ron. And I think the same goes with the girl who plays Hermione. She'll go in the same path as Emma Watson, where she goes on to do other things. Because that's history just repeating itself here. I look at the three actors that are sat in front of me. I look at them and I think, yeah, I can see it. I can see Harry, Hermione, and Ron. However, what I can also see is this show not doing well. I've said it to multiple people before I did this channel. Never really spoke about Harry Potter on this channel, but I've said it to multiple people in my own life that I don't think the show will do well because people want the original trio back. You know, as a fan of that, I want Daniel Radcliffe, I want Rupert Grint, I want Emma Watson. I want the three of them back doing 2 more Harry Potter films. Do The Cursed Child. Take that, for example. That's what I want. We're getting this, something that no one ever asked for, something that nobody really thought we needed. I don't necessarily think we need it still at this moment in time. And I can't really make a judgment on the kids at this moment in time as well, because we haven't seen them act. I can sit here and go, they all look the part, they all look great. Which they do. They all look like Harry, Ron, and Hermione if we're going off the movie Hermione. Right. But we don't know if they can act. I tried looking last night for credits. I couldn't find any, which makes sense because they're young children who are going into Hollywood with this big thing. With this big blockbuster. I know it's not a movie, but it is a blockbuster TV show. The money that they're spending on this show, for it to be streaming, may I point out, for it to be a streaming show, there'll be no advertisements on it. There might be in the UK, but there won't be any advertisements on it if it's being streamed. These kids will get no residuals because residual television is basically dead. Right? So the money has got to come back by the minute it's watched. So have they just signed them up to 1 season to see what happens, or have they signed them up for the full seven books, 10 years? Because that's how long it's going to take. Because we're already in 2025. Apparently this thing releases in 2026. I think it'll be 2027 myself, and I think what we'll see is it will just be done one after the other, and you know, that's great. We don't really know anything else about them as people. We don't know anything else about them as actors. You know, they've been cast. That's great. But the way I look at the casting, right? They're auditions. They're kids that turned up. These 3 kids beat everybody else for the role. And these 3 kids have become household names within television. Right. They will become household names in television. They'll work for 10 years. They'll be paid probably cheap pittance for the first 2 seasons. If the show's successful, they'll be getting millions upon millions of pounds per episodes. Right. What will happen to them after that? God only knows. We cannot wait for the world to witness their magic together on screen. We'd like to thank all the tens of thousands of children who auditioned. Yeah, tens of thousands of people, and these were the 3 they picked. Which means, and they're not just picking them because they look like, it's because they can act. But the perception of acting to Hollywood directors and executives these days, and the perception to fans acting is like, well, hang on a second. I think the difficulty that the kids are going to have, and it's not the kids' fault. It's not. The difficulty they're going to have is that we are a very, I'd say we're very grumpy people when it comes to touching things that we find sacred. And Harry Potter's unfortunately one of them. The 8 movies, the 7 books you can never do again. We've always said that. There should never be remakes. They're doing a remake, they're doing it massively differently. Because they are following every book to the T, to the wire. That's something different because we're going to get more lore than we got in the films. The cast look like them. I'm not going to make any judgment on their acting because I wasn't there for any audition processes. We can't make a judgment on the acting. We can't make a judge on who they are as of yet, as working actors. If you have any knowledge that these kids have been in something before this, let me know. Because I'd like to check it out, just see their acting level. Even if it's like a 5-10 minute clip. Okay? But the chances are these kids have been in nothing. They are unknown to unknown. This will be their big break, and this will probably be the thing that defines their career. Harry Potter's a wonderful thing, but also a curse. And if you don't believe me, look at Daniel Radcliffe. He did The Woman in Black, and he did that Ambio, whatever it was, film. Had this really weird yellow pink cover. I can't remember what the movie was called. And I haven't really seen him do much since. Rupert Grint does a lot of stage plays. Emma Watson's the breakout star from them lot, isn't she? But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to let you guys voice your opinions in the comment section down below. Again, I do not want any race talk because I've seen a lot of that online. I don't like... We love movies and TV. This is that. Be grateful we're getting anything. And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something else. I'm glad to be back. I'll see you on the next one. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and stay cinematic. See you later. Goodbye for now.